Imagine you're leading a group, whether it's a team at work, a family, or even a personal project. To maintain control, you might choose to be loved, winning support with kindness, or to be feared, enforcing respect with firmness. Which path would you take? This is the question Niccolo Machiavelli placed at the heart of The Prince, written over 500 years ago in the 16th century, and it still echoes in our lives today. Here at Essence and Existence, we explore ideas that challenge how we live. And in this video, we'll analyze what Machiavelli meant by "it is better to be feared than loved," and how this lesson applies to modernity. Machiavelli wasn't just a political theorist. He was an observer of human nature, and his pragmatic vision can teach us much about leadership, relationships, and even survival in today's chaos. Is fear or love the key to success? We'll dive into this dichotomy, bring examples from daily life, and offer practical reflections. Stay with me, because by the end, you might discover which force guides your choices. To understand why Machiavelli asked, "Is it better to be feared or loved?" we need to step back to the 16th century in Italy, a land of intrigue and wars he knew well. As a Florentine diplomat, Machiavelli watched rulers struggle to hold power in an unstable world, where alliances were fragile and betrayals were commonplace. In The Prince, written as a guide for leaders, he wrote that, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But he added that fear must avoid hatred. This statement isn't a call for cruelty. It's a cold analysis of human nature. Machiavelli believed that love relies on emotional bonds, which can break when interests clash. Fear, on the other hand, he saw as more reliable, as people obey out of dread of punishment. Picture a king whose kindness is exploited by rebels. He loses his throne. In contrast, a feared ruler maintains order even if less beloved. But Machiavelli didn't overlook balance. Hatred, born from excessive cruelty, destroys power. Have you ever wondered why some people respect those who enforce rules more than those who seek to please? This perspective reflects a pragmatic reality. Machiavelli didn't judge morality. He observed what works. He viewed power as a delicate dance between strength and strategy, where love might be a luxury and fear a necessity. For him, the choice depends on context. A leader in war needs fear, while one in peace can cultivate affection. What if this logic extended beyond thrones into our own lives? Could fear or love be more effective when you need to be heard or respected? This dichotomy forces us to reflect on control and connection. Being loved inspires loyalty, but can leave you vulnerable. Being feared ensures obedience, but may isolate you. Machiavelli invites us to look within and ask, what do you value more? Being liked or being respected? And how does this shape the relationships you build? Now that we understand the origin of Machiavelli's question, let's bring this lesson into today's world. In a competitive environment where leadership and influence are tested daily, the choice between being feared or loved emerges in unexpected contexts. Have you noticed how some people command respect with authority, while others rely on charisma to connect? Machiavelli would argue that both strategies have their place, depending on what you aim to achieve. Consider the corporate world. A feared boss can keep a team aligned with strict deadlines, using warnings to ensure results. Conversely, a loved leader inspires loyalty, but may struggle when enforcing discipline. Modern studies show that teams under feared leaders tend to be more productive in the short term, while those under loved leaders build trust over the long term. Have you ever worked with someone whose presence demanded instant silence and obedience? Or with someone everyone adored, but who struggled to be taken seriously? Another example lies in social media. Influencers who adopt a firm stance, harsh critiques or clear rules for followers can build a loyal base through the fear of losing access to them. Those who cultivate love with welcoming content gain emotional support, but may lose control if the audience turns against them. How far would you go to maintain your influence, using fear or affection? Let's illustrate this with a story. Meet Raphael, a 40-year-old manager at a technology company. Raphael began as a loved figure, always praising his team and avoiding conflict. But over time, he realized projects were delayed because no one took his guidance seriously. He shifted his approach. He became firmer, demanding results with tight deadlines and issuing warnings when needed. Productivity soared, but some employees started avoiding him, feeling intimidated. Raphael wondered, "I got what I wanted, but was it worth sacrificing harmony?" Raphael's story highlights the Machiavellian dilemma. Fear delivers results, but can cost connections. Love fosters support, but may weaken authority. Have you ever faced this tension between being respected and being liked? Could it be, like Raphael, that you'd need to pick a side to thrive in this modern game? If Machiavelli teaches us that the choice between being feared or loved depends on context, how can we apply this in modern life without losing balance? He didn't advocate blind cruelty, but a pragmatism that can help us lead and influence wisely. Here are 3 practical steps to apply Machiavelli's lesson while you reflect on the impact of your choices. First step, know your goal and the context. Before deciding whether to inspire fear or love, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? If you're leading a team under pressure, like Raphael, a touch of fear, such as setting clear rules and consequences, can ensure results. But in a collaborative setting, cultivating love with support and empathy might work better. Machiavelli teaches us to read the situation. Sometimes you need to be the lion that commands respect. Other times, the fox that wins with charm. Do you know how to adapt your approach to the moment? Second step, use fear without breeding hatred. Machiavelli warned that fear is useful, but hatred destroys. If you need to be feared, do so with fairness. For instance, when correcting a mistake at work, be firm, but explain why and show how to improve. This builds respect, not resentment. Be a leader who sets clear boundaries without humiliating or abusing others. Think of Raphael. He achieved results but lost connections by not balancing firmness with empathy. How can you enforce respect without pushing people away? Third step, cultivate love with authenticity, but without weakness. Being loved doesn't mean being permissive. Show genuine care, listen to people, celebrate their successes, build real bonds, but maintain your authority. For example, if you're a parent, you can demonstrate love with affection while setting rules to teach responsibility. Machiavelli reminds us that love is fragile if not backed by respect. What if you could be loved without losing control? These steps help you navigate between fear and love with balance, like a tightrope walker on a high wire. Machiavelli teaches that leadership isn't about picking a side, but knowing when to wield each strength. You can be feared and loved as long as you understand the cost and purpose of each choice. We've reached the end of this journey, and I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on what we've explored. Machiavelli challenged us with the question, is it better to be feared or loved? A choice he deemed essential for power. From the rulers of Renaissance Italy to modern leaders, as seen in Raphael's story, and the examples from work and social media. But Machiavelli's deepest lesson isn't about choosing one side. It's about finding the balance that works for you. Being feared or loved isn't a fixed answer. It's a delicate dance between respect and connection, where context guides your steps. You can use fear to set boundaries, but without losing sight of the empathy that builds true bonds. You can seek love, but without relinquishing the authority that maintains control. Machiavelli teaches that true power lies in knowing yourself and understanding what each situation demands. What if the balance between fear and love were the key to leading your own life? Here's my challenge for you. Today, pick an area of your life where you hold influence, whether at work, with family, or among friends. Ask yourself, am I being more feared or loved here? And is it working? If you need to adjust, apply one of the steps we discussed. Perhaps it's time to be firmer or to show more empathy. Try it for a week and observe the changes. Start small, but with intention, because leading well is an act of self-awareness. If this video made you think, leave a like, subscribe to Essence and Existence, and hit the bell to never miss a video. Share in the comments. Do you prefer to be feared or loved in your relationships? I'd love to hear your experience. And if you want to continue this journey of reflection, check out our latest video on Nietzsche and the meaning of life. Until next time, remember, the balance between fear and love begins with the choices you make today.